Matchmaker, matchmaker, make me a match. Find me a find, catch me a catch. Matchmaker, matchmaker.
Thank you, Kurt. Thank you, Kurt, for playing that. I love that song, Matchmaker, Matchmaker. Everybody, thank you for tuning in to another great edition, of course, of Deborah Kobylt Live. And today we are talking about dating. Dating online, dating particularly if you're over 40, although we can have people calling in or writing to me if they're 20, 30, whatever they are. But we have in studio with us someone who's incredibly interesting. P. Charlotte Lindsay is your...
my pseudonym.
Your pseudo-name, so thank you for joining us.
Hi.
Okay, let me describe this. Let me describe what you do, because I'm going to put my glasses on for this. Okay, you are a solo mom, cookie baking, Tinder dating, fun-seeking writer, lover of martinis, and run-on sentences. Did I get that right?
Yes.
I got it right. See? She was like, no. She kept correcting me.
I kept
said,
correcting.
Oh, my God.
Sorry. I'm a mom.
Yeah, but I'm a journalist. I know how to do this. I've been doing this for a while. So and if I screw it up, all the better. You can correct me on the air. So anyway, thank you for being here. And I want you to describe your journey, which was you were married for 14 years.
Yes, I was.
Until you figured out that your husband had another woman for 14 years. What an ass.
Yeah.
Sorry. So then what? You were suddenly single with kids in your 40s.
Yes,
my God.
I was. And I was very entrenched in the married life. I was a Girl Scout leader and a cookie baker and a room mom and all that.
All that. And then you find out that husband has another one on the side. But for the whole 14 years that you've been married? That sounds like...
Well, we don't know how long it went on. You know, nobody really knows because it was this whole other life. But I did find out, and I did find myself suddenly single in my 40s. Ooh. And it happens, 50% of marriages end. And, since we dated, the paradigm's totally changed. So I entered the whole new world of dating in my 40s.
Yeah. I mean, I read today, there was a study, NYU study, that really need a formal study. But back in the 50s, I think 22% of the population, they were single, and now over 50%, just a smidge over 50% are single. And he cites all different kinds of reasons. He's saying people actually like being single. I don't really necessarily think that's true. I think people are looking, and even though we're going to talk about apps in a second, and I have lots of friends who are doing the apps, young, old, whatever. At the end of the day, they're complaining about it. They're irritated about it because, girlfriends of mine are looking for, something a little more serious. And after date 3 or 4, they get sort of tossed to the side. And they've had a tough time, the people that I know, on these apps. But you've actually been doing pretty well. Well, first of all, look at you. You're gorgeous. So why wouldn't you do well?
I don't do well.
I don't?
No, and what I want to say about that study is... the thing about these apps and online dating is it's really changed our sociology of romance. And there's just so many options that it's very hard to connect on that level. So in the olden days, people would meet in high school or in college, and that was it. But now there's 1,000 people to choose from, and people don't really connect.
Well, for me, it's a vibe, right? If I walk in a room and I get a feeling from somebody, I can't get that feeling from their picture online. And half the time it's, what do they do with their faces and stuff? They look, better. And then you show up and it's not the guy that was in the picture. So
that happens a lot.
Right? I'm sure the women do it really amazingly.
I think actually men do it worse. And
really?
I have what I call Tinder's golden rule, which is you add 10 years, add 10 pounds. Excuse me, take off 3 inches in height.
I know. I'm a tall person like you, but you're like super tall. You're 5'11".
Yes.
I'm 5'9", and if a guy is not 5'10" or above, out of there. That would be one of my requirements. And I have a girlfriend who's my height, and she said she's on Tinder a lot, and the guy is like, oh, I'm 6'1", I'm 6'2". She shows up, he's like 5'8", and she's like, what did I just say? And she gets so irritated. You know what she does? She says, can you stand up, please? She actually wants to see how tall the guy is. I think this thing, you know what? I need to go undercover and do this stuff. My husband would get a kick out of it. That's what I want to do. Can I go out with you one day? And
of course. Well, you know what? You kind of don't double Tinder date, but what you could
guess
do
not, right?
is,
Oh my God, I would have so much
I
fun.
could hand you, at some point you can swipe on my phone or whatever, and then play a little bit.
Wait, I have done that with my friends. I love this stuff. They come over and I'll just, we'll swipe left, swipe right. And then I feel badly for the poor guy that like didn't get the date. I'm like, no, get him back. And she goes, you can't. See, you could see online dating would not be for me. I'd be too like...
It wasn't in the beginning for me.
Yeah.
I was terrified, and I felt sorry for everybody, and I felt like I had to respond to everybody who wrote to me. But after a while, you realize it is a game. It's a game, and everybody is doing the same thing to you. And it doesn't mean that you're not a kind person. It's just how it works. And, as far as the height thing, it really does start off with
Stand
looks.
up.
Well, with looks. We're looking for a certain height or... maybe the smile. And, one man, he flashed across my screen, and I love Zach Galifianakis. And he looked like him.
Ooh.
And so I went out with him. And maybe other people wouldn't particularly swipe on him, but that's what did it for me. So It starts with looks. I know how to read a profile picture. And a profile picture and a profile. And there's a lot of... giveaways on a profile about what this person is. So
give me a little bit. So you're on there, you're looking for a guy. Do you put a certain age down? Now, I guess you're over 40, right? So do you put down a certain age range that you're looking for?
You put down, they all have your age, so there's no avoiding that. And
what, from your Facebook page?
From Facebook from Facebook. Or you tell them, like on Match, you have to tell them your age. And there is a lot of lying. So you go on your Facebook account and you changed your date of birth. And kind of the rule is...
I didn't think you could do that.
You can do it 4 times.
See, I'm like...
I would be like, catch.
Oh no, I can't do that.
Then they figure it out. But you go... If you're 30 or 40 or 50, let's just say 50, then you say you're 49 until you're 56. And then when you're 56, you say you're 51 until you're 62. Then you say you're 59.
Okay,
you
right
always
off the bat,
go down.
Okay, but right off the bat, these relationships won't work because they're based in lying, right?
Well, what happens is the men will put in, if they're 50, they're going to put 20 to 40 or 20 to 50. So they're going to have all these women, to choose from.
Yeah,
but they're not going to put
like a whole sea of women.
They're not going to put
up.
51 or 52. It's just an automatic thing. So if you're 51 or you're 52, you put your 49. What happens is you match, and then you tell them. Like I would tell them right off, this is how old I am. So you lie about your age to get people to swipe on you. This is why women lie about their age. Men lie about their age because a lot of them in my demographic are having a midlife crisis. And I've dated
who's having a midlife crisis?
A lot of men are.
Ugh, I think women are worse. I really do.
Women tend, I'm generalizing, women tend to want relationships. We just tend to.
Okay. In my world where I live, the women are ready to kick their men to the curb, and the men love being in their committed relationships. I don't know what kind of life I'm leading, but am I right or no? I think because women are working and they're out in the world and doing stuff, they're like, ugh.
But women, what happens is reality never measures up to fantasy, right? So and I tell women,
she's envisioning Ryan Gosling. And then it's really not out
they
there?
think that it's going to be better or different if they get a divorce. And then you get out there in the real world, and it's hard. It's really, really hard.
Go to Kansas.
I've had so many heartbreaks. I have had a lot of highs, and it's nice to get the butterflies again because, when you get married, you think, oh, I'm never going to have those butterflies again. But you drop hard when you drop. And then next thing you know, you're still not in a committed relationship. In general, with online, I write about being over 40 and doing this. You tend to be getting men coming off of divorces, and they go online. They
just want to play, don't they?
They want to play. This is my last chance. What can I get? What can I get? What can I get? And there's a lot of women out there who, there's especially in LA, there's a lot of women, young women who are interested in that. It's harder for women in my age because they don't swipe on my age.
Yeah. So then do you have to lie about your age just to get them to swipe
I
on
don't
you?
anymore, but when I was doing this project, when I was doing this series, I went undercover for 3 years, and I became P. Charlotte Lindsay. That's not who I really am. And I hardcore online dated. I mean, I would date 3 men in one day.
Ooh, wow.
Because
but wait, let me just wow. Let me just ask you something. How do you go undercover if this thing is linked to your Facebook account? Like, what do? Set up a fake
You can set up a fake Facebook account
with fake pictures? I mean, the whole thing?
No, it's my picture.
Oh my.
Yeah, if you go on my site, P. Charlotte Lindsay's site, it's pictures of me. Mm-hmm. But when I first started doing it, it was really me, because when I first started doing it, it was like, oh, I just need to get another husband. It's going to solve all my problems.
Right. Well, you were hurt. You were despondent.
It
and
was
you wanted
just
another...
what was in my head.
I get it.
I didn't know that I could feel the butterflies again. And once I started doing it, I'm like, wow, I want him to kiss me. I want to know, I want to sleep with him. I started really having fun.
Oh.
But then what happens is, I always say, online dating is like cookie dough. So you take a bite and it's really good, and you eat a little bit more, and you feel like, ooh, sneaky decadent. And before you know it, you've eaten the whole bowl and you want to vomit. And that's what happens.
Oh.
You get you can get really caught up in this fun. And next thing you know, you've put on 10 pounds, you're drinking too much, and you're alone.
See, but at the end of the day, that's where I say I think meeting somebody personally is
I agree.
easier. In fact, I think we have on the phone a matchmaker. You and I spoke about that a little bit. I know you're not someone who necessarily uses one or wants to use one, but there's a lot of people out there who use them.
Yes.
And I'm curious what her experience is. Julia Bendis, are you there?
I am.
Julia,
Hi,
thanks for tuning in. Thank you for being with us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Julia Bendis. Now, this is interesting, and I want you to chime in on the conversation, too. You are sort of I'm not going to say old-fashioned because you're not old, but you're a bit of an old-fashioned, because you're not. You're a bit of an old-fashioned matchmaker. It sort of runs in your family. Grandma was a matchmaker, right? And it just sort of, and you're from the Soviet Union. You moved here. When did you come here? Sometime in the 80s, didn't you? Yeah?
It was right before the fall of communism in 89, yes. So I was a teenager.
And let me just say, you are married, correct, with 2 kids?
I am. Been married, almost 20 years, 19 years in August.
So
Yes.
You're a successful matchmaker. And how do you do this? Because clearly you're not somebody who goes online, right? And again, Charlotte, please just chime in on this whole conversation, because we're going to finish with you too.
Right.
But so what you do is very different than what a lot of other people are doing. They're going on Tinder, they're going on Match, they're going all over the place to find somebody that way. But you do it personally,
Right.
correct? So people actually have to call you, fill out a questionnaire or whatever, and then you find them somebody?
Right. Well, I mean, the whole idea of matchmaking is I take all the work. I do all the work for you. So all the stuff people are doing online and weeding through the profiles and talking to people and emailing back and forth and trying to figure out if this is the right person, I do all of that. No, I don't go online. And some matchmakers do. I don't. People come to me. I find people when I'm out, and I've been around for a long time. So people, 50% of the time, they find my website just by Googling matchmaker, Orange County, matchmaking in Orange County,
and for those
LA.
For those people who are listening, who are not in California, Orange County is just south of Los Angeles County. So basically,
Right.
okay, so you said you do this when you're out. So what, you're at the mall, you see someone who looks attractive, male or female? And
I approach people everywhere, and my husband can vouch for this, and he gets pretty upset, especially if he's with me. I pretty much turn to him and say, hold my purse, and I run after someone if I think she'll be a great match for a client, or a man that would be a great match for, a female client. I do it all the time. Less
takes
so
a lot
now
of chutzpah.
Because
that takes a lot of chutzpah.
Exactly. Well, my license plate used to be chutzpah. That was my present from my husband, because that's exactly what I did.
But basically,
yeah.
So you find matches for people. So let's say I come to you, or Charlotte comes to you, right, and says, hey, find me somebody. Here's who I am. Here's what I'm looking for. then what? I mean, have you had a lot of success with that? That's got to be really difficult.
Oh, of course I have, or else I wouldn't be still in business. But yes, of course, there's been a lot of marriages, a lot of long relationships, babies born. But that's exactly what it is. The first step is they fill out a long form and basically tell me everything that they want, everything they don't want, their background, what happened in their past relationships. It's almost like therapy. Once I look it over, I give them a call, and we basically meet in person. We sit down. I meet with every single person. I get to know them. I get to know what they want, what they don't want. And it's a process.
And it's also, they pay you. They pay you as well, right? The men pay you and the women pay you? Because somebody once said to me, no, the women don't pay, the men pay. Is that true?
Well, for me, and every matchmaker is different, but with me, everybody pays. Because honestly, in this day and age, women make as much as men. I mean, obviously, we can argue that. Whatever, 75 cents on a dollar, hopefully it'll be even soon. But if you come to me and you're looking for a match and you need my help, why shouldn't you pay? Just because you're a woman, you make the same as a man, you're making a great income, and you obviously need the help. So I don't believe that it just should be men paying. But, you know, like I said, everyone is different. Everyone's business plan is different. So I charge everyone, yes.
And you prefer that that personal touch as opposed to looking at somebody online, right? I mean, what do you think about this? What do you think about matchmaking, Charlotte?
Well,
as opposed to, computer, online dating.
No, I mean, that's my frustration with the online dating is that it's really time consuming. And for me, I'm a mom, so I kind of know it from that demographic is that, and everybody's different. I mean, some men want to go out right away, but others you have to text and text and text. And it
you
just
mean when you
takes
do the online dating?
Yes. And what I do is it's not as, as thorough as a matchmaker, which sounds great, but I Google them. I ask for their first and last name. I ask what they do for a living.
That would freak me out if somebody was doing that to me.
Well, as a woman and safety, I've actually had like the gentlemen offer that. Like they know, by the way, this is my last name. This is what I do. And I Google them. I Facebook them. I Instagram them. I vet them. If we have mutual friends,
and
I call
you
them.
have to do that.
You have
as
to
a
do
mother,
it,
especially.
Yeah. But
yes.
I think
exactly. Just to really quickly let you know, I that's exactly what a matchmaker does. I do all of that.
So you're doing the work that Charlotte ends up doing and spending her time doing.
Well, and I think you also cut out the lying.
Running. Right, and running background checks, criminal checks. A lot of times when I feel something is off, because a lot of what I do is based on instinct, and it's a gut feeling. You either know it or you don't, and I always listen to my gut, and whenever I feel something is off, I run a criminal check, and I'm always right, or a background check.
So for you...
and that's...
Julia, would you say that business is up for somebody like you? Because I think a lot of people are getting just disenchanted with the
frustrated,
whole, frustrated. And I don't do it because I'm married, and I would find it frustrating. You know what I mean?
It is. You're right. And that's always what I talk about, especially on my blog or whenever I do any radio show. That's exactly what I say. With the amount of online dating apps and websites that are popping up every day, which when you first started, everybody was really excited about. And it was a wonderful thing. And it still is. It's a wonderful tool to meet other people. But, and there's a huge but, you have to have the time. Like you were just saying, it will take you hours and days to email with someone, to screen them, to weed them out, not to mention this is all before meeting them.
Right, and then paying for a babysitter.
And I meet with them. Right.
So what's your success rate? And if people want to get in touch with you, what would the process be?
Well, I mean, my success rate is, I don't have a percentage for you, and every month it's different depending on who I have and what type of clients I have. And I'm not going to lie to you that it's not always 100% match.
No, I mean, it's not
an
exact science.
Right, it's not a guarantee. But the process is to go to my website, which is matchbyjulia.com, and I think you have it up on your website. And they fill out a sign-up form. Once they fill it out, like I said, I look it over, and first I make sure that I can help them. I don't take anyone on without knowing that I can help them. I don't just take people's money and then have them sit there waiting for weeks or months.
Charlotte,
at a time.
you know what would be interesting for you to do? Okay, because you blog about this, you go online, you should call her and see, okay, are you going to have more success with a matchmaker or more success on your own?
Well, that was one of my questions is your demographic. I mean, what is your demographic? Because, you know, again, being over 40, especially in LA, it's, you know,
it's hard.
It shrinks down, at least for women. And I'm also curious, when you do approach a man, you see somebody and you say, well, I have this woman and she's 49. And, you know, do you find there's a bias towards younger women?
Oh, of course. That's just life. Of course, every man wants a younger woman.
But there's a lot of women I know that are out there single, and they want the younger guy, too. I think there's just a whole trend toward younger. Don't you think?
Well, I think the women who want the younger guy, and I know a lot of them, that is to have fun with him. You know, but I think, I mean,
not always.
I'm general. Everything I say is in general. Everything is a generalization. Somebody like me, you know, I'm exhausted, you know, because I did so much dating. So
where are you now with your whole dating process?
I'm still doing it.
You're
but I'm not
online doing it.
Yeah, but I'm not doing. I'm doing it as myself, which is a different name and a different person. But I'm not doing it as P. Charlotte because you know, that was really intense and crazy, and I did crazy things and I did dangerous things.
Whoa. Come on. What kind of crazy things and what kind? You can't come on here and say you did it without telling me what you did.
Oh, my God. Well, I screwed guys in cars because when you have kids at home, and this is when you have, but this is the thing. Again, a single mother, right? I have kids at home. He has kids, or he just moved out. He's got a roommate in an apartment. You end up having sex in your car. And so many people do it. Every time I bring this up or I do an interview or whatever, I say, so, you know, I've done this.
Do you know how many times I've seen cars that I don't recognize on my block? I'm going to start knocking on the window.
There's middle-aged people in there trying to have sex, and it's not easy because you got a little bit of arthritis.
God, get a room. What?
Who are these guys you're seeing? Can they not afford a hotel room?
But you don't do that. Oh. You know, this is the thing. I'd rather do it in my car than go to one of those hotel rooms. You know, those 1 hour.
You must have a big car. I mean, you're a tall
woman.
You're
I learned
5'11".
I learned the hard way.
What do you have, a Suburban?
I learned the hard way because
it doesn't have to be a 1 hour hotel or a motel. Why can't it be a nice hotel?
Because that man you're describing, the man you're describing who has the money to get that hotel room and the class, he is not online dating. He doesn't need to online date.
That's not true. Not what I found. And I have those men.
So
you have those men as a matchmaker.
Should try something else.
Hang on, guys. I'm totally confused. I'm confused with. So, what are you saying, matchmaker? You're saying, hang on, bing, 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 bing.
I'm saying clearly she's been doing. You know, she's tried everything else. So she should try a matchmaker. She should try a different way of meeting people.
No, I agree.
Online.
I agree.
That's what she's saying.
But the point I was making, is that when you were saying get a hotel room, I'm saying a man like that is not going to be on Match.com or Tinder or Bumble or whatever.
Right, they're going to be a little more dignified or refined, if you will.
They'll be going through the matchmaker.
Right, they'll be going through the matchmaker.
Yeah, they'll go to the matchmaker or whatever. They're not.
Not all. I've known a lot of men that have come to me and they've tried everything else before coming to me. And they have done Bumble and they have done Tinder and everything else. So,
but do you ask them if they will pay for the hotel room if they have sex?
Of course they would.
Is that part of your interview?
I make sure nobody's having sex on the first date or the second date. You know, until you're exclusive, you really shouldn't be doing that. At least that's what I tell my clients.
I may be a nerd.
Adults.
I may be a nerd, and I'm not. I'm really, really not. But that's where I think some of the problems are. And I enjoy having a good time like anybody else. But I just think if people are going and having sex on the first date, the second date.
I didn't say that they're having sex.
Not you. I'm just saying, but the people, but the people I know who are on these apps, it's like that's what they're doing. And then they complain and go, oh my God, like he doesn't like me. He's not calling back. I'm like, well, what do you expect? You're screwing him in the car. I mean, sorry to my intern over there.
Right.
But do you know what I'm saying?
Well, I don't really know people who go out and screw people in cars on the first date. Usually they wait till the third date.
But even so, okay, the third date. Do you get my point? My point is,
And you don't always screw somebody in a car. You know, I'm getting extreme. I did this experiment so I could write about it.
I think what you're doing is fantastic. And I think what you're writing about is absolutely hilarious because so many women, so many are in the same situation, including a lot of my girlfriends that I talk to.
Yeah.
They are. And they've done the same thing, believe me. And like I said, I pass no judgment. People want to have a good time. But when it comes to the long-term relationships, my opinion is that's why a lot of these apps don't work.
You're not going to.
That's
not the guy you want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's not the girl that he wants.
No.
That's why Miss Julia is in business. Am I right?
Right.
Did I lose you, Julia?
You're keeping me in business. No. I agree. I wanted to hear everything out. And I think that the bottom line is we're all human and we all have needs. So obviously nobody should ever be judging anybody for doing anything.
No.
But I'm saying the issue I think I have is with having sex in cars and having sex on second, third, fourth date, whatever it is, you really don't know the person. So I always tell people, not only do you have to be careful for your own safety, but if you have children especially, that's huge. And going back to your question about my demographics, I have people from all ages, from all walks of life. If they can afford my services, then I want to help them, obviously. I work with all budgets as well. So I have people that have come to me as young as 23 and 84 or 85.
Oh.
I mean, it goes up,
Wow.
So I have people from every age group.
What if you can't really afford it? You can only afford a little bit, but you're looking for a rich guy. How does that work?
Well, I mean, you got to have a stable job. You have to have, you can't be homeless and looking for a date. Or for a match.
Wouldn't you say, okay,
you need to be stable, obviously.
I dated somebody who was homeless.
You did? My gosh, you've really run. This is why
I didn't know he was homeless.
Let me say,
I dated him for 3 months.
This is why people must.
I think we should talk.
This is why you are a must read. Do you understand? Your blog is a must read.
Yeah.
She's dated. Oh my gosh, you've been in cars. You've dated homeless guys.
Yes.
This is
I've done everything.
What? Don't you have a story?
I'm a method writer, so I went out there and I did it.
I love it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I really
That's
love
great.
this. It's passion.
I didn't know he was homeless, but I now can tell you how to tell if somebody is homeless. So this is it
There
goes
you
on.
go.
It goes
Wow.
on.
That's very that's great knowledge for mothers.
Julia,
with
Well,
kids.
for anybody, really. Nobody should be dating. I mean,
Yes.
it's your personal choice, but most of my
Right,
friends
of
wouldn't want to
course.
date a homeless guy.
Julia, just a couple things because I also read about you. You've got the 10 rules for dating, a couple of them that are important. Try to stay within your own age category, right? Like if you said some guy is 60 and he calls you and says, hey, I want a 20 or 30-year-old, you're like, no. Because at the end of the day,
Right.
it's really not going to work, right? I mean, wouldn't you say? Same with economics. I mean, if you've got a girl who's making $15,000 a year and she's looking for a billionaire, you may not be the one to go to. Is that correct? I mean, basically, she'd be better
for
off
sure.
probably going
Yes.
for a drink at one of the nicer
I'm not-
hotels.
Right. I mean, and there's, I know they say, a lot of people always say that, there's a fine line between matchmaking and escort business, which is a complete lie because that's not even near what it is. But that's part of the reason why I don't take on those people that ask for, 55-year-old men asking for women of childbearing age or younger. And I tell them, I'm sorry, I can't help you.
Yeah,
My
they
women
can-
have their own money. They don't need your money.
I like
They have
that.
careers. They're very successful. And, go find someone else that can help you. I'm sorry, that's not what I do.
That's what the
I've been
hotel bars
approached
are for.
to help interesting people, and I said no.
You know what's
So-
interesting? I have a lot of friends. Do you go to bars? I mean, whatever, restaurant bars, whatever. Again, I have plenty of single friends, and I get dragged out with them half the time. I end up being the one to get picked up half the time, by the way, for the record. And maybe I'll talk to them to try and pass them over to my girlfriend. But I would find meeting somebody at a restaurant bar or just a bar in general is kind of a drag because half the time
Yeah, I
they've
don't
had
go to bars.
Yeah, they've had a drink or two, in which
Yeah.
case you don't really know what they're saying. So if you don't go to a matchmaker, where would you suggest meeting someone? Let's say somebody doesn't want to do that. How do they do it? Just in their everyday life, in the elevator, whatever?
Right.
Well,
And talking about a bar, I have a quick funny story.
Sure.
The reason why I never approach people at a bar anymore, And my husband, I'm sure, is out there listening somewhere, and he absolutely hates the story. And we were out at a bar with a bunch of friends, and one of my girlfriends was single. She saw a cute guy across, a few tables, and she told me, "Oh my God, he's so cute. You should go give him my card." I said, "Yeah, let me go over there." I go over there, approach him, no wedding ring, and that's my cue. And I ask him, "Hi, I'm a matchmaker. Are you single? I may have someone for you. A friend of mine is here. She saw you cute."
And
exactly.
the wife
He's
sits
been
down.
Drinking. No. He was married. He just didn't have a ring on. But he told me later, and not only that, but he was drunk. He came over and he went off on my husband saying that who am I to pimp one of my friends out?
Oh!
And he was so drunk you couldn't even understand what he was saying. And basically my husband was face to face next to him about to brawl because this guy wouldn't leave us alone. And when we left, he promised me never do that again.
Okay,
so
that's actually
I'm never
kind of funny.
approaching people at a bar ever, and I don't want anybody to do the same.
Okay, but I'm just envisioning
my suggestion.
Go ahead.
My suggestion is, it's going to sound cliche, but if you like sports, join leagues where you can play sports, co-ed leagues. Meetup is huge especially for single people. There are so many interests on there. Any kind of interest you can think of, they're out there, and there are groups, and they're specifically single groups with those interests. So I would suggest Meetup is absolutely amazing for single people. I don't suggest bars, but if you're out and about with your friends, it is a good way to meet people. You just have to be careful. You have to be careful who you talk to, who you approach.
Yeah.
So, and you have to think about the things you like. If you're into running, join a running club. If you're into, skiing, go join a club that will go to Lake Tahoe every year.
Yes.
Or whatever your interests are.
Julia, you make
that's my advice.
You make a lot of sense. Now, for people who want to come to you because they've absolutely had it and can't find a date any other way except the old-fashioned way, and again, not old, but just sort of the way that it's been done for traditional ways. Your website is what? Julia, Julia?
It's matchbyjulia.com. So match, MATCH, byjulia.com.
Matchbyjulia.com. And primarily you work in the Central and Southern California area, right? But you'll match up people elsewhere, wouldn't you?
I do, because I network with hundreds of matchmakers throughout the whole country and parts of, other parts of the world as well. So if I don't have your guy, someone else will. And we're working together on a daily basis, and we send clients to each other, and we help each other out all the time.
Yeah, I mean, you make a lot of sense, actually, don't you think? I mean, you sound very reasonable with what you're doing, and maybe I'm going to have Charlotte give you a call after this and just see if we could arrange something. What do you think?
I think she should. We'll definitely have to have a chat.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here, Julia.
Wonderful men.
I believe
Thank you so much.
You're darling, and say hi to your family there. I love that this is something that sort of is passed down by the generation, so that's great. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye. She's terrific. She was smart. She doesn't just pick any old random person. I mean, she's very methodical about the way she does this.
Saves a lot of time.
It saves, like you said, it's a lot of time. This swiping, this meeting, this whatever.
Well,
so where are you now in your whole dating search?
I'm not really searching. I'm working on this project. And
tell us about the project.
Well, I write a column called Tinder Loving Care for Esme.
Tinder, that's Tind.
Yeah,
what a great name. Oh my gosh.
But
Tinder Loving Care. Yeah. Brilliant. Thank God nobody's taken it. Thank God that you took it, because that's one heck of a name.
So that's the column, and it's on my website now. So it's pcharlottelindsay.com. It actually launches
P as in Peter,
right now.
CharlotteLindsay.com, and it's literally launching today. Right?
It's launching next Wednesday, but it's up.
Yeah, but people right. So just right now you're just doing the finishing touches.
Yeah. So
and what's going to be on the website? You're going to have
it's comedy. It's mainly to online dating over 40 is
crazy,
heartbreaking.
You end up in cars.
It can be. Well, I mean, that's just something I did. I don't want everybody to do it, but a lot of people do it, and you got to do it once in your life. So you never did that. You never had sex in a car before.
Anyway,
I rest my case. But I write there's Tinder Loving Care, which is basically all about going on Tinder, and there's a lot of stories about the men out there, and I bet you a lot of people who read it have actually dated these men. I don't use their real name.
Oh, that's hysterical.
And because you go on and it's the same guys, and they're on every single site, and 5 years goes by and it's the same guys, and they magically have not aged at all. They're magically the same age as they were.
Forget that.
5
It's their
years
high
ago.
school picture that they put up
So
there.
a lot of guys do.
Their college yearbook picture.
Or
Meanwhile,
their dog.
Oh, my God. Well, that's got to be. So you write, okay, the couple of blogs that you've written. How to become single, right? How to live a single life, right?
I don't think I wrote that.
This is how it's done, and the book.
Oh, yeah. That's all on the site. It's basically how to do it. I write Tinder Loving Care, which is just about Tinder, and then I write just essays about dating right now.
And the broken heart. You wrote something about
and then
the
I have
broken
something
heart.
called the Broken Heart Diet, which is what you need to eat when you get your heart broken.
What do you need to eat? Because there's so many women, especially if they're coming off of a divorce, and they're scared and lonely, and they feel like somebody. Oh my gosh!
And
I
you
met
know,
him.
a lot of us lose weight when you're dating. I'm talking about when you're dating and you have all this anxiety. And is he going to call me again? And I like him. And why does it say he's active right now if I thought we were dating? And you lose weight because you have anxiety. And so the Broken Heart Diet is when you basically confirm that this guy is in fact married or he is in fact dating one of your friends. You eat raw chocolate chip cookie dough. You eat yuck dip. You eat Ruffles. You eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with Ruffles in the middle. And so it's all those recipes and drink recipes.
You'll
most
never be
importantly.
dating if you keep doing if you eat all that stuff.
No, you're only allowed to do it for 1 month.
Only for one month?
and then
Oh.
you have to, get back, move
back in
on.
the game.
Yep. Swipe on is what I say.
Swipe on. So what have you found that has worked for you? And how many years have you been single, by the way, since your divorce from that
guy?
That guy.
I've been single. I did this for 3 years. I wrote it for another year. I've been single I cried for 1 year after it happened. So 5 years. 5 years. And I did this really hardcore for 3 years, the dating. And, over time, what happens is you learn a lot about yourself.
What you want,
And
what you
what you
don't,
want
and
in
what
a
you'll put
man.
up with.
And
what
just
they
what
want
you
in
really
you.
want. You start out and it's very superficial, and I want this and this and this and this. But over time, you find that, I actually just want someone who's strong, meaning he's a stand-up guy. He's not going to leave me if I get cancer. He doesn't.
So do you
cheat.
write that in your profile? If I get cancer, please
yes.
don't leave me. You do?
It's interesting. My profile has changed over the years, and I kind of track that. And now my profile says I'm a single mom, and I'm a writer. And if you're married, living in your car, homeless,
Keep swiping.
don't have a job, please don't contact me. And then I say tall is a plus. I'm 5'11".
I saw that. So
Yeah.
I thought that was smart.
It's a plus. Yeah, I mean, right now, I am dating. I had one date. I'm having another one tomorrow.
Did you tell him to watch?
He knows what I'm doing. That's the other thing. A lot of men don't want to date me because they know what I do. So it takes a man who's very comfortable in who he is, who's probably not going to be an ass. If they treat you well, you're going to tell everybody he's a great guy. But he's the same height as I am. And so this is the
That's
first
good,
time.
right? Or do you like them taller? I'm confused.
I came out of, my marriage with short men. My dad is short.
That's why it didn't work out.
It had something to do in the beginning for me about just the strength, because even in my marriage, I was the man. I always had to take care of everything. And so as I get older and my kids are leaving the nest and I'm tired because I raised these kids, I'm thinking, God, I would like somebody maybe to take care of me a little bit. So there was something psychological about this person who I didn't meet, who was big, who was tall. Actually, I did, and he's a douchebag. So it didn't work out. So my preconceived notion that if this guy's tall and he's strong and he can wrap his arms around me, but he's an ass. So maybe that's not as important. Maybe a good man is more important than a douchey tall guy.
So now you're going on a second date with someone that you met online, correct?
I met him online.
You met him online. Okay, so there is hope for this.
And he's a good man. I think what happened is I snagged him right away. Like, I'm on these
Did you tell him
things.
to take himself off? I would be pissed off.
He probably did. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not. There's no way for me to know because once you match, they're pulled off of your pool of men. So unless one of my friends says he came up, which has happened so many times, I'm dating somebody, I introduce them to my friends, and then they'll say, I just saw Bill on Tinder. He's Tindering. I matched with him. You know.
Okay, I'd be so pissed if that
yes,
happened.
you get really
because
pissed.
the first thing that would be on my profile, I'd be like, if you like me, then that's it. Like I'm a one woman or one guy kind of person.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
But that's, again, we go back to this issue of women tend to be more relationship oriented. And I'm completely generalizing.
I think you're right.
And
no matter
men,
what they say, you know, women are like, oh, this is great. Like I have a different date every night. But at the end of the day, they want somebody that they can rely on. I think men do too. I mean, it gets tiring.
I call it, when they're first getting online, I call it Jessica Alba syndrome. And what that is these men go online and they meet a wonderful woman. She's beautiful. She's smart. You know, she's you. She's me. And then they think, if I can get her,
I can get somebody else
I
even
can get
better.
somebody better, right? And then boom, 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 because they think they're going to bump into Jessica Alba online and she's going to leave her husband. And then a year later, they didn't meet Jessica Alba. And inevitably, I'll get a text at 1 a.m, hey, what's new? Thinking about you. They come back.
Isn't the 1 a.m. sort of the booty call text?
I got, yes,
saying.
it is. And then I'll say, nothing. I don't respond.
Oh, that's smart.
Yes. But there are a couple men who I have stopped seeing, who I've started seeing again. And then stopped seeing and started seeing again. But I think that's in life, too. I mean, I think people meet in high school and they break up and they reconnect at their reunion. It's the same. If you like somebody and life gets in the way and they come back, you still like them. But there's definitely the ones who come back because they didn't meet Jessica Alba.
Well, we're going to have to wrap up. But basically, your message is, if you're going to go online, right, I mean, be careful and be super, super upfront and straight about what you're looking for, right?
If my message is, go online. Mm-hmm. You need the attention. You deserve the attention, even if it's just one date. If you've gone through a divorce, if you're lonely, go online, go on that one date. Let that man sit across from you.
Okay, what if you're embarrassed? Because, like, other moms from the PTA are going to see you up there and you're going to go, oh, my God, I can't.
They're not going to see you because it's the men who are swiping. And if they see you, it's just that, I've talked to a lot of women. I've counseled a lot of women on this. And even women, the moms at the school, do it because you deserve to be looked at. You deserve to be seen because you tend to feel invisible when you hit a certain age.
I think that's very true.
And it's just that one date of this person looking at you and buying you a glass of wine, you get your mojo back. Whether you decide to call the matchmaker, whether you decide to meet people naturally, whatever you do, it reminds you what it feels like to be a woman.
To get,
and to have attention paid to you.
I say don't kid yourself because a lot of men I know who are also suddenly single, they feel like they're not attractive any longer either.
Same thing.
I really believe that. So give it a shot, right?
Yes.
And read your blog. So
read my blog.
How can they? Because I think it's hysterical. I mean, some of the stuff that you've told us about and that you've been through.
It's way worse on
the
blog.
I'm going to say it's way worse. I love this stuff.
I'm holding myself back right now.
Never hold back.
If you give me a martini, then I'll really cut
No,
loose.
and I'll go. I always say this: I'll go with you, and
we'll get in a lot of trouble.
We would have so much fun. Then I'll go, but I'm here for her. So
that doesn't stop him, but I'll protect you.
Yeah.
I'll keep an eye on you.
Anyway, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks
I just
for
think
having
you're
me.
wonderful. So tell us again how people can reach you.
You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. I don't know how to tweet, but I'm up there, and it's P. Charlotte Lindsay. Just exactly how it sounds. And then check out my website. It's pcharlottelindsay.com. And you can also read my column on ESME.com.
And I just think it's important that you get out there and engage with other women who are going through the same thing.
Oh, it's so fun.
And they're too ashamed to talk about it, but you're out there just giving the advice and saying, hey, look, I'm here, you're here, let's start a dialogue about it.
It's so fun.
It's really okay.
Go get martinis with your girlfriends on a Friday night and show each other the dick pics that you get. It's nothing more fun than that.
Oh, my God. They send those too?
Of course.
Oh my God. I'm like a dinosaur. I don't know what's going on out there. That would be disgusting. I'd be like, ew.
It is, but it is disgusting, but it happens.
Okay. Well, go enjoy yourself, everybody. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
It was a lot of fun. Anyway, everybody, thanks for being here for another super fun edition of Deborah Kobylt Live. We'll see you next time.